Hello, welcome to another episode of 8 Stories, a Multifamily Media Network podcast. We'd like to thank you for your love while we've been away, and we are excited to be back. And today's topic is a great one, and it's going to keep us really energized the whole show long. So before we jump into it, though, we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsor.
The sponsor of this episode is Chadwell Supply, an OG in the multifamily industry. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned maintenance and repair supplier, and they deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. To find out how Chadwell Supply will make your day better, visit www.chadwellsupply.com/difference.
Okay, Jennifer, the topic. The whole subject today is about NAA Apartmentalize 2024, which starts in just a few days. And it's going to be held in Philadelphia this year. And this is the event of the year for people in the apartment industry. There'll be probably 100,000 people in attendance, and everything you want to know about the multifamily world, you can learn more about it at Apartmentalize. So we had a viewer write to us and say, hey, it's my first time ever going to NAA Apartmentalize. How do I navigate it? What are the don't miss events and conversations? What's your best advice to give somebody who's brand new to this?
Let's see. First and foremost, make sure you download the Apartmentalize app. You can just put in Apartmentalize or National Apartment Association. It's green. It's got a letter A on it. Make sure you download that. It is not for anybody, let's say, specific. It's for everyone, right? You can see the trade show setup, the floor. You can mark your education sessions that you want to make sure that you attend. I actually have done that already. I've got all of my top topics that I want to try to make sure I get there too.
People who are watching, I'm pointing out what the app looks like. So whenever
right, that is the one. That is the one. So yes, make sure you download that app. It's got all sorts of great information from sessions to lounges to water areas to, again, the trade show. You can look up anybody, just an array of information. And again, you can make your own schedule in there so you don't forget or miss out on an opportunity that might be of interest. Because once you get there, it's like an amusement park. You will be everywhere with so much to do. So that would be my first recommendation. And that's probably even before you get there, right? Maybe on the plane, make sure you get that downloaded so you've got all of the information you need.
I think another thing to note, especially if somebody who's new, is that there are a lot of people designated to help you. So if you get there and you're not sure where you need to be next, there will be people who are on the floor who are able to answer questions and point you in the right direction. But mostly just take it in, because it's a chance to leave energized about this industry and also just chock full of new information. What are the trends? What are the thought leaders thinking for what's coming next? It's just a way to really leave with a fresh excitement about this industry. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing some people that I really only see, once a year at this conference, because we don't live near each other, and it's nice to catch up with people from around the industry.
For sure. So I think we're going to have 8 stories, if you wish, today, right?
Yes.
All around NAA. So let's shoot for the first one. I don't know if we should have made this first. Maybe we should have saved it best for last, but we'll take it out of the gate strong.
Yeah, we're going to jump out of the gate with this one. And this is a little event we call Podcast Palooza.
That is right. So if you haven't seen, we have been showcasing that us as the network is putting on a Podcast Palooza. You can come mix and mingle with all of our hosts. We're going to have lots of conversations. We'll have some small bites. We have a special little performance, if you wish, that will be revealed as well. And we'll also have the opportunity to see some of our hosts live and in action. So we've got quite a bit of space. It is at the Attico rooftop, which is the top rooftop of the Cambria Hotel. So please, there's probably some of you even staying at the Cambria Hotel, so you can come on up. It is open to everyone. So please, we would love and encourage you to RSVP just so we can have your name on the list when you get to the elevator to go to the rooftop. So you can find that in RSVP out on our LinkedIn page. However, in addition to that, again, if you find a couple of friends that you're with when you're there on Tuesday, feel free to bring them along with you. It will be on Tuesday, the 18th from 7 to 9:30 p.m.
I can think of about 1,000 other reasons why you might want to come to the Podcast Palooza. So there is a prize that we're
Yeah.
giving away that night, and it is $1,000.
Yes, that is right.
How does that work, Jennifer?
The only caveat to that is you must be in the room to win. So make sure that if you're there, you stay till 9 before you might hop to the next event. But ultimately, you do need to be in the room. So please make sure that you are there, and we will do a random drawing, and you could win $1,000 because there's nothing better than having $1,000 extra in your pocket.
Right?
Be a great way to start off the conference. You may not be able to win the Mega Millions or whatever apartments.com is giving away, but you do have a great chance of winning the $1,000 from us. So we're super excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the opportunity to connect, meet, network, and you might even be able to get a host to do a quick little recording for yourself if you join, and you could be have a short 3 to 5 minute opportunity there, even with one of our hosts to go live. You never know.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And since it's before the conference sort of really super starts in earnest, it's a good night to come out and sort of kick off your experience with fun people, some fun apps and drinks, and really conversation. And it's a little less formal, I think, than some of the other events might be. So come join us at the Podcast Palooza. Say that you were there, and we're excited to meet you.
Yes.
All right, so we got to keep this train rolling. So our next story is something called Melanin and Multifamily. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So this group was actually founded by Monica Frazier. You might have seen these out on social media. And as a matter of fact, one of our own hosts, Vanessa Grayson, who is the host of the Unconventional Project for us, she actually is part of Melanin and Multifamily, and they have created this support group, and they are doing I believe it's called Rock the Bell. It's a mixer. It is actually later than our event, which is great. So you can hop from our event and then go over to their event. It is you'll see folks if you are familiar with Ty Jackson, Melody French. You can find all about that event, the Melanin's Mixer in Philly. If you can take a look at Monica Frazier or our very own Vanessa Grayson, Ty Jackson, they are all posting about it, and they would love to have you. Again, another opportunity to mix and mingle with a great group of people in the industry. So another great one to line you up for Tuesday night. You've got nothing shy of things to do on Tuesday night.
It sounds like it's going to be a really great event also. So I'm really excited for that and for the success they're going to have. Okay, so up next, though, is Tamala Koval has an event. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
So we probably should have, Sharon, done this in the other order. She's actually before our event.
Okay, we didn't do the timing very well, but that's all right.
So first you'll hit Tamala Koval's event, then you can come to ours, and then you can hit the Melanin Multifamily. But Tamala Koval has an event from 5 to 7. And if you don't follow her, she is an avid multifamily veteran. She has created many programs in the industry over the last 30, probably 40 years. She is a huge agnostic tech advocate, meaning that we all should be working together, right? We all should, be playing in the sandbox together. And really her event is about the freshest viewpoint of having an agnostic tech stack. So her event, they're going to share and see and do. There's going to be, I think there's some folks there, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to kind of be the host, and Ben Stewart from Revise will be the co-host or the MC, I should say, asking several folks questions on how to be agnostic in the industry. They also rather have Dennis Kowal from AIM. He's going to be there leading some conversations about ways to collaborate. So again, this is one that you'll want to be in the room. One of her favorite hashtags is free the MF data. So that hashtag has been running around for several NAAs now. If you look up that hashtag, free the MF data, it is the opportunity for everyone to come together and work together in our industry, right? And with that being said, I do want to give a quick note to, because I think this is amazing. The portion of her tickets, this is a ticketed event, but the great thing about her event is that the portion of the tickets of the donation is being made back to the very legendary Can Ball here in Atlanta Apartment
Yes.
Association, benefiting the Atlanta Food Bank. And the chairperson for that is Dana Hill. So a really great pronounced event in Atlanta. That is where Tamla resides, and she is one of the founding members of the Can Ball. So although this is a ticketed event, the proceeds go back to the Atlanta Food Bank. So going to be a great one to start off the conference too.
That's, it's fascinating that hashtag really sort of tells the story of what they mean when they're using the phrase agnostic, and really what they hope to accomplish. So that is a ticketed event. And if you don't have tickets, is it possible to get any, or is it a sold out event? Do you know?
No, it is still possible. Tickets, it looks like I just saw, were $125. What is great, you can either reach out to us here at Multifamily Media Network. We can put you in connection with Tamla, or you can find her, Tamla Koval, that's Coval, on LinkedIn, and you can let her know that you heard about her event from us, and she can get you in. But again, going to a great, proceeds are going to a great benefit and from
Yes.
the Atlanta Food Bank. So that's great.
So apologize that all the lights went out, but we're going to carry on. But one of the next things that we want to talk about is something that has to do with one of our founding sponsors, and we're super, super excited about this. And that is Chadwell Supply. And many of you, if you're in the industry, you know Chadwell Supply. Chadwell is going to have a podcast booth on the floor in their trade show booth. And we actually will be in there. Chadwell will do some podcasts, but the Multifamily Media Network host also will be filming we'll be doing audio podcasts in there straight from the floor of the trade show. So it's really an exciting thing. Jennifer, do you have some more to add to that?
I do. We'll be in there, Sharon.
Yes,
We will
you
be
and I. We will be there.
Yep. So feel free to stop by. That is booth 657. You will find every one of our hosts will either be with another host or they will have a guest, and they will be periodically during the time of the trade show. So Sharon, you and me, we are on Fridays at 9:30, just for 30 minutes. We have Janet and Lacey Thursdays at 2:30. We also have Paul Marks and Suzanne Hobson Thursday at 1. So an array of folks there. And in addition to that, we also have Vanessa Grayson from the Unconventional Project. She's actually speaking to her boss, which is pretty cool. I know, right? Sharing his story. And she will be doing that live on Friday at 11 after us. Bill Nye, he's going to be in the Chadwell booth on Thursday at 11:30 with Ed Wolf. He is over now at Airwave, so he is going to be talking about culture. And then our amazing Rooms with Ronald is going to be having a conversation with Charlotte Piscati. Probably hopefully got that name right. He will be going live Friday at 12:30. And then, of course, Mary Gwen, she is actually going to be further discussing information with our friends over at Widewail on Thursday at 4. So any point in time, feel free to stop over. You will not be disappointed by any means. You can find them, meet them, snag some photos, listen to them as they record. But we are super excited to have the opportunity to be at their booth throughout the trade show.
Yeah, they've been great to partner with, and we're so thrilled that they're founding sponsors, and it's going to be a lot of fun to do this live. So, please come look at us in the booth while we're doing this.
Look at us through the glass, right? Or
Make faces. Yeah, Jennifer and I will be doing this in the same space, which is something we haven't done before.
Yeah, I
Usually we
know.
just talk screen to screen. So it'll be a good time on the trade show floor. And the booth number you said was 657?
That's correct. Yep, 657.
Terrific. Well, we will see you there.
That's right.
The next event is like the big event that everyone comes to, right? This is the big.
There's two actually.
Okay,
Sharon.
go then.
We got two back to back again, right? Which is great. No shy of parties by any means at Apartmentalize.
Pace yourself.
Right. There's an earlier party, but there is a party called at Nodo. It is a party that starts, this is funny, on the invite, it says 10:01, which is hilarious. It starts at 10 o'clock. It is hosted by several suppliers that are out there. Again, actually Chadwell Supply's there, Leonardo 247, Widener's there, even Gatewise. I mean, there's an array of folks. Apartment Rating, Satisfax will be there. They are all folks that you can see if you want to reach out to them. They all have wristbands. So you can reach out to these folks on the trade show floor. Or if you see them during the show, you can get a wristband to this party. Or quite frankly, usually how it works is somebody probably has one rolling around and you can take one if somebody's not able to make it. But that is an event that starts at 10 o'clock, which is great. But I think the one that you also honestly have to have a wristband too, but is the National Apartmentalize party Thursday night that is open. And if I'm not mistaken, Sharon, it's at the Philadelphia Museum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I'm sure they have that whole thing blocked off for everybody for us to attend. So again, both parties, you do have to have a wristband, but I'm absolutely certain that if you do not have one at the beginning of the conference by Thursday, you can find one from somebody, or you could probably purchase one and be able to get yourself there. So no shy of Thursday night parties as well.
Chadwell Supply is the proud sponsor of Multifamily Media Network. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned MRO supply company and is committed to the multifamily industry. They deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. Chadwell Supply offers valuable resources such as maintenance training, a dedicated renovations team, and procurement platform assistance, ensuring multifamily properties operate more efficiently. Now, by partnering with Chadwell Supply, they'll help communities stand out in an increasingly competitive market. So learn more at chadwellsupply.com/difference.
So, in addition to, let's move on to another thing that's happening past the parties and back into sort of the conversations that are happening. In addition to our multifamily media host being in the podcast booth, several of them are speaking at the conference, and that includes our very own Jennifer Carter. So tell us a little bit about some of the places that people are speaking this year.
Yeah, and I want to make note on that. I think that sometimes we talked all about these parties, right? And I think they're great and they're super fun to be at. I want to make sure that even as a first timer, you don't get lost in the parties,
right?
But the education is really the most powerful, and there is so many sessions. I mean, even for myself, I was going through the app, Sharon, and I was like, oh, I want to go to that. I can't. Oh, I want to go to that. I want to go to that one, because there's so many at the same time. And so you can't possibly be at them all, but really take the opportunity to try to navigate which ones are most important, because the education is, I think, the just a great opportunity to gather. And really, you have the opportunity there to meet other people within that session, right? That might be that's sharing the same interest or the same topic as you. So I'm really excited about that, being able to hop in and out of some of those sessions. But to your point, yes, I am speaking. I am moderating a session on Wednesday, and that is all about EI and AI, leveraging emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence. It's going to be pretty wild and crazy. I'm super excited though, because I'm pretty passionate about the emotional aspect side and making that right equal with the artificial intelligence as well. So I have that. And then I'm also speaking on Thursday with Mike Brewer and Christy Widewail around neurodiversity and superpower within you. And I'm super excited to lead and be a panelist with those amazing people on stage from that perspective. So that's just myself. Lacey Daniels is speaking on Friday about tough situations, mastering de-escalation from communication. And well, Sharon, previous episodes, we've talked a lot about communication. And so I think that's super important. I think you would agree on that, right? From the communication aspect.
Well, it just, it's important. The topic of this artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence, I think, is so important because AI is the thing, right? It's coming, it's already here, and it's only here this much. Like, it's coming like a tsunami. And in that, people are really worried about losing that sort of personal touch. So I think it's really important to talk about AI does not mean that we lose the human component of this. It's complement to that. And so really learning that the EI becomes even more important. I won't say as important. I think it becomes more important that you're developing those skills. So I'm really excited to hear you talk about that. And also what Lacey's talking about in terms of that de-escalation. If you're in this industry, there is an opportunity for de-escalation in your career, whether that's with co-workers, colleagues, or residents, or any of the consumers that interact with us. And so there'll never not be a time when we need to keep training and sharpening our skills on that front.
Yeah. All I could think of as soon as I read that, all I could think of was the angry resident that's coming in. Very upset. That's all I could think about. I was like,
right.
Yep, we're going to need to de-escalate. And how do we handle this?
Right. You got to walk into that situation, not run from it. You got to walk into it, use that emotional intelligence, and de-escalate the situation.
Exactly.
I'm also really interested in the neurodiversity conversation and how that can be a superpower. And for so long, people who were anywhere on the spectrum were sort of considered as that was a deficiency. And by no means is it a deficiency. There are many people who are somewhere in that definition who are actually some of the people who do the most spectacular things, because the way their brain works enables them to think about things differently than the crowd. And that, absolutely. And so I'm really fascinated that topic's on the floor. I have a child who's neurodiverse, and I am really excited to see the world opening up to what are the just unique talents and gifts that come with that.
Yeah, and if I might add, if you're coming to that session, you better have some tissues in your pocket. Okay.
I believe it. I believe it.
Maybe we should provide some under the chairs from that perspective. So we've got a couple of others. Janet Raza is doing take control of lead generation with on-demand ad strategy. Wild and crazy topic. I don't even know if I can comment because that is still my marketing hat, but it is quickly developed and is a little bit more intricate these days than it's always been in the past. I think one that's super cool that I would love to see is our friend Ronald. So as you all know, Ronald does Rooms with Ronald in the shops. He did 100 shops last year across the US, and he's taking that live to Apartmentalize, and his topic is actually leasing across America. He is giving us the actual insights and impacts from 100 of those shops. So that is bound to be breathtaking and eye-opening. I can only imagine, right, Sharon, what he has probably found when he shopped 100 different types of properties across the U.S.
Right, because it enabled him really to see not just how it's handled differently in different places, but also to see how it doesn't depend on the type of property you're on. in terms of how excellent your experience is. So it's not just that, oh, A plus properties always have a great experience, and those that are a little older have a tougher time. So I'm really fascinated to get Ronald's debrief on what lessons he learned from shopping 100 different communities across the country last year, and he's doing it again this year. So yeah, you should also tune into Rooms with Ronald and just get the skinny on what he's learned as he goes through this process. But to drop in on his education session for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll tie up here with a few more, and then we have one last story to mention. Ronald is also interviewing a session called "Interviewing It Takes Two to Tango." That's on Friday, so check that out. And then Mary Gwen has the Red Light is Flashing, KPIs and Maintenance, as well as Renewal Revolution, uncovering paths to long-term success. So we have just this alone is quite a bit of topics and information, let alone the other, I don't know, I didn't count, but I'm assuming probably 100 plus other sessions that they have out there. And they've got quite a different of options. They've got panelists, they've got moderators, they've got what I think are now called fishbowl sessions. I'm not sure that's new this year. But there's all sorts of different ways. Oh, and might I add, before I move on to the next one, I don't know about you, Sharon. I don't know if I'll stay because I don't like a crowd particularly, although I'm going to NAA. Mark Wahlberg is the closing speaker. And if you don't know who he is very popular. Him and his brother have the restaurant for their burgers, Wahlberg Burgers. And it relates all back to Boston with New Kids on the Block, which is my favorite. So anywho, super excited for somebody pretty famous to be the closing speaker. Hopefully I will be around. If not, I will make sure I snag a photo from somebody to see it close up. So
Wahlberg brothers. That should be fun. And it's always where, I mean, people tend to lose a little steam by Friday afternoon, but it's worth sticking around if you're able and really soak up, because the last session is not a throwaway session. It really is. There's something to carry away from that is meaningful.
Yes. I love that. It's not a throwaway session. That's good. That's great. It's probably just as important as the first one, but somebody has to be in the last slot, but still bringing value. So that's great.
Before we jump to the very last topic, I will say that though there are 100 plus other sessions, it does speak to the caliber of our podcast host on the Multifamily Media Network that so many of them are leaders in the industry who are speakers at our national convention. So I'm just really proud to work alongside these other podcast hosts who they never phone it in. They're always looking for the best way to improve our industry from all angles. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
You reminded me something, Sharon, of that. And I would agree with your sentiment there. I would also say stay tuned to each of our podcast hosts for after NAA. I have no doubt that they will be maybe giving an extended edition or some recap notes. So make sure that you check each of those hosts out, not only at the show, but really after, because I think there will be some great takeaways from each of the hosts, not just on their sessions, but the perspective of everything that they have to bring back.
And every person will have a slightly different takeaway because you will sit in different education sessions than someone else did. So yes, you can't take it all away yourself. So be sure to tune in and pick up on what other people took away from the conference. Yeah, so I think we're going to close with one more of our founding sponsors who's doing something that's pretty incredible, and that's Widewail. What can you tell us about that, Jennifer?
Yeah, so Widewail, you may have seen them. They had released their most recent Voice of Resident series, if you wish. They had taken it into a 3-part series with over 400 Google reviews. They analyzed the sentiment of these residents, from what's most important to maybe what's least important, what motivates them at move-in time, during their residency, as well as retention. And so they are further expanding, and they will be in the house at Apartmentalize, further talking regarding their findings of their 400 Google reviews that they were able to pull together, and does include the top NMHC top 50 And again, I think it speaks volumes to their depth of and breadth of information that they have available. But I also think it gives us a kind of on the outside the opportunity to really take our own perspective out of it and really look at the data that they collected of what's truly meaningful to residents and prospects, right? I mean, we tend to sometimes think, well, this is what I would do or what I feel, but it's really not about it's about the resident. And if we can gain that information and then find an action plan outside of that, I think that's great. So they'll be showcasing some more information. And again, you can find them on the trade show floor. I will also add that the 3-part series that they just completed is available. So if you are and haven't, always you can reach out on their website and find the recordings at widewail.com. And they will or they will have the recordings there that you can go ahead and pull up. But appreciate their sponsorship, as you said, Sharon. They've just got some great data.
And they have so much more than just data, right? They were able to really take this data and turn it into a really more easily understood. What does it all really mean? Because data is just a big pile of information. It's the ability to really synthesize and pull out what are the comments that people are making and what does that tell us about what they really want. So that is one that you definitely want to go to widewail.com and watch those episodes. And that's all that we have for you today, but we will see you at NAA in just a few days. And if not, we'll be back afterwards to talk a little about what we learned and what we thought were the top stories at NAA.
Fantastic. See you in Philly.
See you then.
Thank you again to Chadwell Supply for sponsoring this episode. Chadwell Supply delivers unforgettable service with next day delivery, online and in-person maintenance training, procurement platform, assistance to make your ordering simple. Visit chadwellsupply.com/difference to learn how Chadwell Supply will make your day better.